Building in Minecraft can be really diverse. There are tons upon tons of styles you can replicate in this game, or sometimes even come up with something completely different. A lot of people think that they're only good at one specific style, or none. But I'm here to show you guys that building in different styles isn't actually too difficult. To prove my point, I will build 3 houses in 3 different styles, but I've come up with some rules for this video to make it a little bit more interesting. I want to build the same house in 3 different styles. What I mean by that is that I will start off with the exact same shape, this being a 7x9 rectangle, and from there I can add one more shape to any side of this rectangle. As far as the blocks and the details go, I can use anything I want because the usage of blocks and the types of details define the styles I am going for. This also goes for the height of the building because some certain roof types go better for some certain styles, so therefore I can make my building as high as I want, but I won't really do that much difference. I hope that explains everything. Let's get right into the building process. Starting off with the medieval fantasy style building, I created my 7x9 block rectangle out of andesite and decided to mix in other stones later on, which you will probably see in this timelapse eventually. From there I'm building upwards, alternating with spruce logs and stripped oak logs to create a Tudor style. And I'll raise that all the way up to make room for an elongated A-frame roof. I also knew that I wanted to create a dormer on the side of the roof, which is what you see me put right over here. Then I simply connected the roof together and added some details using iron bars and walls on top. Over at the left side of this house, I decided to create a little entrance with 2 windows up there on the left with a nice flower box. I mixed up the roof with some lime terracotta, and after that I added a granite and brick chimney going all the way to the ground. On the right side I wanted to raise the front door and have a staircase leading up to it. This meant I didn't need to make more details at the bottom, but I did decide to pop out a window over here and make the window of the dormer a big round one. The second house will be an Asian inspired one, and I'm making it on top of this hill because I thought it would look cool, I don't know. Here I started off with a Tudor style rectangle at the bottom, alternating between jungle logs and a combination of diorite, white concrete powder and regular white concrete. I wanted to have a porch on the side and I actually messed it up at first. But once I tried to lay out the roof design, I noticed my error and fixed it right away. In my opinion, the roof is the most important part of an Asian inspired house, and that is why I wanted to focus most of my time on making it just right. You can see me trying different things on the back there, but I think I eventually settled with what I had designed right off the bat, so yeah, that was a waste of time. I connected the birch at the top to make it look a bit more detailed and extravagant. And then I decided to carry on with the Tudor style, but this time using stripped acacia logs instead of the white blocks, and I think it looks very cool and maybe a bit more Tibetan-ish? I don't know. I made some fencing for the porch using some lecterns and acacia trapdoors to add some more orange into this building. After a couple of final details on the house itself, I wanted to touch up the surrounding area, adding in a lot of different details that really set this house into its place and make all of it come to life. For the final house, I decided to create more of a modern day American neighborhood house, I think. For this one, the details outside of the house are very important because this style in itself is really quite bland and minimalistic. I grabbed some natural colored blocks, being the white terracotta and stripped jungle logs, and raised up the 7x9 rectangle using these two blocks. I then connected a garage to the left side of the house, and I mostly did this to cover up a large area and therefore not needing to add more details to the house itself. I covered up the sudden change from white terracotta to stripped jungle logs with a rim of smooth quartz slabs, and I made the roof border out of these smooth quartz slabs as well. Using dark oak, I filled in the simple A-frame roof, and then I added a very small dormer as well. I experimented adding some depth into the walls itself, but I didn't really like how that turned out, thus I decided to make a very elegant arch surrounding the door. And also creating even more depth with the usage of the diorite walls. I made a white window on the second floor, but after the time-lapse I split it into two. Even though I don't dislike this look, I think the two windows looked just a bit better. For more outside details, I made a pathway towards the garage, some fencing, a briefcase and also a small garden around the back. But because of the enclosed surroundings with all of the trees, I decided to just show it off to you guys in the tour. Alright, I'll start off with the first building from the time-lapse, and it's this fantasy medieval style building. This is the style I'm probably most familiar with myself, because I just tend to build this kind of style when creating some sort of village or city in Minecraft. And I think it turned out really quite nice. I just decided to, after the time-lapse, show you guys all of these in more depth. But you can see the small details I added over here, like a little flower pot over there. A couple of leaves and some flowers itself in there, a bit of white and a pink. Over here I added a small wheat field because I feel every medieval or fantasy style building needs something like this in the near area, because I think this just really sells the kind of the older medieval style quite good. Little barrel over here for some extra storage and stuff, and some added details like a couple of rocks over here as well. At this side I created a little cart, which I think turned out really quite nicely. I just freehanded this one, and I think this is one of the favorites I've ever built. Truth be told, I haven't really built a lot of carts, but I think this is my favorite design from now on. Over here a little stairway going up to the door, and I think especially this part really gives it more of a fantasy medieval city vibe. Because, I don't know, I think this is just really cool. Then you can have like a small alleyway, a house on this side as well. I think putting this house in a setting with more houses, like a village or a city next to it, really would make this build come to life. But of course, I was just going to build the one house in different styles, so I wouldn't really be able to do that right here. Over at the back, I didn't really do much detail, but I just added a little flower pot, a couple of windows over here. I think it's enough to make an end of a building, but nothing really special over here because there really wasn't any need for it. Cool chimney going all the way up there. As you can see right here, this is the rectangle that we started with, the 7x9, and then kind of the part I added onto it would be this stair over here. But I actually think this is more of a detail. But the main thing that sells this style is the going up and out a little bit. I think almost, well, not almost everyone, but a lot of the medieval style houses have a little popping out bit to make your probably living area a bit bigger than the bottom part, which can be the cellar or the basement, you know, that's all down there. But here is where the living room is, and I didn't really do interiors on all of these, but you can see kind of the space that we have, and also up here with the added window, just a little small attic space as well. And then down here, of course, we also have the whole room itself. But there's quite a lot of space on this one, and I think actually from the outside it looks a bit smaller than you actually have on the inside, so that's always a bonus. Moving on to the second house, which is an Asian inspired building, and I just really love how this turned out. This is the style I was the least familiar with. And just going up here, we have a little gateway over here. I forgot the word for this one, but I'll probably write it on the screen somewhere for you to have like the actual word for this type of detail. We have a small cherry blossom tree over here, which also really sells the kind of Asian vibe. And I refrained from saying the country this is originated from, because I actually wouldn't be sure what country this is from, and therefore I would say Asian, and that one is more of a European style, and the one over there is probably more of an American style, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's go to the outer details first. I really love this small waterfall I got over here. Not really sure why, but I think this one settles the building in quite nicely. And then at this side I have the floating lanterns, and I think there's like a festival in some parts of Asia where they do this. They just light their lanterns and they go up there. You can also see it in the movie Tangled actually from Disney, but I just thought that would be really nice. Also a lot of the bamboo all the way around here. And then on the inside I made a large walkway over here, which is kind of a sure, like it's called something like a veranda in Dutch, but I'm really not sure what the name would be of this. But I got one of these paper wall doorways, and I think this really sells the style as well. A little tatami mat over here. I think just using the top parts of the melon, I think that's quite an interesting detail I really haven't seen before. And then the space on this one is a bit smaller, but of course this one doesn't really have an extra part on top of it, only the really nice roofing. And this is probably the thing that always shouts what kind of style it is to me. Almost all Asian buildings, at least the ones that are built in Minecraft, have like a really eccentric roof design, and most of the times it goes kind of up like that, like almost a ramp or some sort. And for this one I decided to make it with a birch lining and then the red, what is it called again, the red nether bricks in the middle, and I think it looks really quite cool, and I'm actually very happy with one of my first Asian buildings I have built, well, ever. Again, the beginning rectangle was right over here, the 7x9, but on this one I changed it out for some white blocks and also the jungle logs. Then going through the forest until we see this asphalt road over here. And over here we have the last style, which is more of a residential style that you would see in the modern day in just the normal world, of course. I would say if I would be really specific with the style, this looks like an American 60s 70s style house. I mixed together a couple of natural colored blocks like the stripped jungle logs over here with the oak planks, some dark oak for the roofing, and just some simple white terracotta for the bottom part with some quartz linings everywhere. And I think this actually looks very nice. This is also a style I'm not really familiar with, but I wanted to show you guys that it really isn't too difficult to try new things in this game. The beginning rectangle is right over here, and on this one I added this garage to the side, because I think every American house should have a garage to the side, to either side, or maybe just disconnected, but they should have a garage because Americans really love their cars. This style is actually quite interesting because the details on the house itself are really quite minimalistic, but the things that set this house into its place is the outer details, like this road over here, a couple of trash cans, like the hedge dividing the garden of this house from maybe the next one, little briefcase over here, then the garage itself, of course, with the pathway going onto it. I even tried to make it look like the grass over here is freshly mown, and I made a small garden with a barbecue in here as well to really give it that American vibe, you know. Then over here is the garage. It's quite small for a garage, but I just needed to work with the space I had. And I have a nice glass sliding door over at the bottom here. And the back is just also kind of bland, but it really is suitable for this style, I believe. As you can look inside, there's quite a lot of space in this one as well. And I think this could turn out into a really nice starter house of some sort. Oh, and I almost forgot a little doorbell at the front, because I thought it needed just a little bit of extra detail over here. And that birch over there, let's say it's a rain pipe. Also, I made this little fence to the side to kind of resemble the whole residential feel. But I really like how it came out, and be sure to take this design if you need it. I paused for a little second and there you go. But that is the whole video for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys can start experimenting with different styles. Because believe me, it really isn't too hard to create something different, and if you want more inspiration, there are always sites like Pinterest or YouTube or anywhere else. Be sure to check out some other buildings I did on my channel for more inspiration. Anyways, my name is Marupsi. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you guys in another video. Goodbye.